All right, folks, welcome back to Missin Curfew here. I'm Obes, up dog.
Yo, yo.
Cons.
Con Smythe.
And this guy we got in here now it's more than a friend of the pod. He was a guy that, quite frankly, I begged to kind of try to get involved a little bit, but he's just busy. He's owning restaurants. He's flying around the country. He's just, doing whatever he's doing. Our boy, JOFFREY Lupuls in the house. Loops.
Thanks, boys.
Yeah, that seat is always welcome for you. You look good in it.
We try to keep that baby as warm as we can for you, fella. This is a long time coming.
Oh, it's warm in here, all right.
That's right.
The AC's down,
And listen, you don't
That's
have...
all right. We got a guy coming in.
You don't have really much. I know you're going to kill it, but the last guy that sat in that chair was Larry Flowers, so you don't have really much to you're going to be all right is what I'm saying.
The bar has been set low.
You don't fly 38A in Southwest, I tell you that.
Yeah, you guys just knock out the podcast and then go play Riviera and assume that I'm not ready, apparently, with my golf game.
Ooh, the Riv is a tough track, isn't it? Cons, you just keep hitting that driver fucking down the pipe. Keep getting those hips through, my man.
I'm getting the hips through just fine, bro. And don't ever worry about what courses I can and can't play, all right? You worry about what courses you can play, I'll worry about what course. If I can't play the course, believe me, I'll be the first one to tell you.
Hey, what did you say? What's the shot you're going to be working on now? Like, you're really focusing on, what is it?
I'm all about that short game, bro. 30, 40 yards, you stick it right by the pin, and you will shoot a score.
Loops, how has our short game been over the years? Collins, you got a lot of work ahead of you, is what I'm saying, because we've chili dipped a couple wedges in our day, haven't we, Loops?
It's the hardest thing in golf, I think.
Yeah. I mean, that's why Loops has this 7-wood.
Yeah.
So listen, we go.
Now I don't even chip anymore.
We go to
It's called the Heavenwood.
The Heavenwood.
Like an old man running up there. All over Bandon
But
Dunes.
it's kind of sexy the way he does it. But we're at Bandon Dunes for Uppy's bachelor party, and I'm matched up with Lupul on the other team.
Wait, I'm sorry, excuse me? You were aware for what?
Bandon Dunes Golf Course.
For the Bachelor Open.
Yeah.
Joffrey,
Wow.
Joffrey set it up.
PJ McKeag was the one who started this, by the way. He was like, obviously, we all have a bachelor party at some point in our life. But PJ decided every time a guy in our group has a kid, we're having a bachelor party.
I think that's more important than the bachelor party.
Yeah, I agree.
100%. And then you get more of them. Most guys have,
You have
maybe
4
a couple
kids. You got, Pico's still having kids just to have these bachelor parties.
Hey, who wants to have another kid? We got to get another weekend.
I'll take a bachelor party over a bachelor party.
I mean, it's just another reason to get the boys together, which is I'm all for.
Exactly.
I'm all for. So we went to Bandon Dunes. I don't know if you've been there, Kevin. It's a great golfer's experience, and
Is that near Sharkies? Is it like Sharkies?
we did
No,
teams.
it's on the ocean, though.
Yeah,
So there's
it's
sharks.
in Oregon. So we did Bandon Dunes against Shady Canyon. So I had matched up against Lupul for the whole Ryder Cup style mentality, and I was giving him a couple pops, which I shouldn't have been. And then he brings this. I'm like, I got this guy. He's fucked now. He's left of the bunker. There's no way he's getting this thing up and down. And out comes the Heavenwood, Cons. And he Heavenwoods this thing around the bunker, up over the hill, and right into just inside the leather where I'm like, fuck, that's good. Pick it up.
Was that the morning that it was fucking raining and you were just complete? Yeah, you had no rain jacket.
I had a
Your
rain jacket.
fucking black golf shirt was soaked to your body. And I'm like, hey, I got another umbrella. You want it? You're like, fuck that. I'm already fucking wet. I'm talking, I've never seen a guy so wet. And then after the round, we go have
After the
beers.
round, the only thing that wasn't wet was my fucking underwear. And I go into the pub, Cons. I'm like, yeah, give me the tallest beer you have in there. She comes down, knocks it down. Sure and shit, she knocks it all over me. So now my
four
underwear,
beers right on his lap.
now my underwear, the only thing that wasn't wet is now drenched in beer. I'm like, it's not my day. But that Ryder Cup was a cool experience at Bandon Dunes Loops, that course.
Bandon Dunes, yeah, amazing course. We had a great group of guys.
Cons, do you know Bandon Dunes? It's like a link style course. So it's ultimate guys trip. You're right on the water there in Oregon, and we ended up losing the Ryder Cup to him.
That was a tough loss. But you got to, Lupul put the whole thing together, him and Matty Ryan. Matty Ryan got the bird for the boys, Matty Ice.
Matty Ryan. Hey, Loops, what's your handicap right now? Before we go to Riv, what is it at? Do we have to look it up? Or
I'll look it up.
But you don't have to look it up. Just ballpark it.
No, you know there's
I
an
think
app,
I think I'm a
Kevin.
6.2, 6.3.
6.3.
I know there's an
I'm gonna
app,
be about
Shane.
an
I'm on
8
the
or
app.
9.
I'm on the fucking app, bro.
Now's the time to get in Lupul's pocket, though, Obes. I think now's your time.
I haven't played in a month yet. You guys might.
Now's your time.
I love Loops, but I'll tell you what, we were walking up that 18th hole at Bandon Dunes, and I've been this guy's brother for 15 years, and I was spitting mad that I fucking lost two of my 3 matches. The only matches I won were in the afternoon. Like, if it was a real Ryder Cup and Uppy was our captain, I would say, hey, bro, I'll sit out the morning matches.
Has he ever won a match in the morning?
I probably never won. I would have rode around the golf cart and cheered the boys on if it was a real round.
Yeah,
I'm
But
not a
also,
morning
too,
guy.
Loops, maybe coming into a round a little chilly. Maybe that's just what the doctor ordered. He could shoot a score today. I'm on Lupul.
Maybe.
Lupul's
Yeah,
up
yeah.
early. He's doing his fucking yoga stretches. He's
I mean,
getting
I
a bike
teed off
ride
at
in.
6:40 this morning when you guys were stumbling home from whatever nightclub you were in.
Loops was on the Peloton.
We don't do
fucking
that anymore.
6:30
We don't
this
do that
morning.
anymore.
Loops, what'd you think of the Cup Finals?
I thought Tampa kind of outclassed him, to be honest. Dallas, they battled and took it to 6 games, but Tampa, it was pretty clear by about halfway through game 3 that Tampa wasn't going to lose. I just feel like they had the better goalie, better D, better forwards, and they'd been there before and they've been disappointed before. And sometimes you would see most of these teams that have like good long Stanley Cup runs, they got to go through that. Teams like Chicago, Washington,
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, like
Yeah, I was gonna
they've
say-
been there and they lose, and then you realize that
Boys, in our era, what type of team did Tampa like remind you of? Like this whole series, like just in
I
the
would have
last
said
20 years.
Great question, and I would have said that they reminded me of a Washington Capitals team. That
Just
they
who
were
were
so
so close.
skilled.
President's Cups.
They just were a bit soft. Washington back in the day.
Tampa added some major grit though.
Yeah, Patty
Maroon,
Shen,
that good
Bogosian.
Bogosian. I
Bogosian
guess
was
McDonough's
a-
been there for a
No,
while.
Bogosian was a
man.
big
McDonough
pickup.
was so good.
Who's the kid from the Devils?
Coleman.
Yeah.
He was fucking awesome.
The Capitals are a great analogy. They've won the President's Trophy and disappointed themselves, the fans, like they should have won, and then they fucking pulled it together. They rallied and they won, and that's what Tampa did this year. It's a great call.
They could never get through Pitt, and then like Tampa could never get through fucking Boston. Right? It was
Yeah,
just
it takes a time to win. Could you made it 90 days in that bubble loops there? I know you're an Edmonton boy. Could you made it 90 days back in the day when the phone was buzzing with texts from people being like, "Hey, Lupul, where you at?"
They're gonna string me up for this back home, but making it 90 days in Edmonton is hard as it is. But 90 days
Unless
in
you
a
had a-
hotel room in Edmonton.
unless you had an
Holy
underground
shit.
tunnel built right to Cactus Club.
Yeah.
Then you're talking. Then you get those fresh pints. What were those drinks back in the day? We used to put the slush in them.
Margarita slush.
Yeah, yeah.
beer,
It was beer. So a nice cold fucking Alexander Keith's.
Yeah.
With the top off with just like a little bit of
Margarita
margarita
slushy.
slush. Oh, in the summer they're fucking tasty.
Yeah.
Obst.
Speaking of summer, let's touch on the Lupul and Friends golf tournament. So Loops is a good charity guy. He did a lot of charity in Toronto. So you have this tournament cons every August. A little close to training camp, if you ask me. You know, I was always trying to cut a few pounds, and he says, "Loops, like." So Loops, just explain the tournament and what you did for it. And I'll tell you what, it took years off my life, Uppy, but that was for my own mistakes.
Yeah, but we raised a lot of money, so
Yeah,
we
I
put
was
years
gonna
on
say,
other people's
Yeah,
lives.
a couple years off yours, but you donated it.
But you gave life to someone else, Shane,
Yeah.
and that's the important
That's the
thing.
important thing.
No, but Loops, you did a great job
We
for
did,
10 years. That's
yeah,
pretty
10
cool.
years, yeah. We actually benefited a couple of different charities throughout the years, but it was always a fun time, and you guys would always be there. And I can always remember it was like clockwork. Every year, Monday morning, we would always have this early flight back to California, and he's not getting up.
Real
Like,
fucking early.
Now pull him out of bed,
Yeah.
literally.
7 a.m. bird right
I was
down to LA.
occupied, boys. I was occupied in
Yeah.
there.
And then he would just get to the airport, and instead of carrying his bags, he would just be dragging them. His duffel bag.
You didn't think the duffel bag had wheels, and it actually didn't. But fucking that leather bag.
was my golf clubs,
The one
you
year,
fuckers,
the
wasn't
one year
it?
they redid the whole airport in Edmonton. The long fucking walk to get to customs, and I remember he had the lean going, the left lean the whole time, and so he just fucking balanced himself along the wall the whole way with the fucking bag dragging on the right side.
I said, should have got the
Pretty
fuck. There was only
impressive.
one flight out of Edmonton. I'm like, is there not a fucking 4 o'clock in the afternoon? I can
What about the one year I was up there? I'm making my speech at the end, and I'm like, want to thank these guys for coming to the tournament, and I'm like. And a big thank you to Scotty Upshaw and Shane O'Brien. They've come every year. Can't thank them enough.
Look
they're
around.
they're not there. There's no one there. And so
We went
I'm
out to play a couple extra holes,
yeah.
didn't we?
No,
driving
no,
around-
well, you went out there for a reason. It wasn't to play a couple extra holes.
with a couple cart girls out there.
They took off with a couple cart girls.
Working on the short game. Working on the short game.
That tournament was great for me, especially. I'm from, me and Loops grew up together, so it was always a time I could go back. Had my brother play in the tournament, had a bunch of my friends, buy a couple holes, and all Lupuls boys back home are beauties too. So it was.
I played with the same.
They're big fans of the fans of the show.
I played with the same beauty. Help me with his name, Loops. The same beauty I played with 10 years ago.
Daryl Cook.
Daryl Cook, you
dad's
fucking
good buddy,
beauty.
yeah.
I hope you're listening.
Donate a lot of money.
So,
Cooksy.
Cons, our boy Loops, it was, I guess it was the right thing to do, but it was a 9 o'clock shotgun, 8 o'clock shotgun?
It was a 9 o'clock. Well, except for you guys.
I got uninvited. I said, Loops, what's up at the tournament? Should I come? And he's like, you don't want
It was
maybe your antics at the Getzloff tournament. Pulling a hammy.
And they
doing
don't
a
see
fake
many.
hammy.
This is during the
lower
height,
back injury, bro.
the height of Entourage too. They don't see many celebrities in Edmonton. I can only imagine what would be happening at that golf tournament.
Yeah, all
First
the
of
girls.
all,
I
first of all, you
got
guys
laid.
left. Yeah.
Thank God you didn't come. I wouldn't have got laid if you would have came. Good thing you didn't come. But so it's a 9 o'clock shotgun, and every year I'm like to Loops, I'm like, fuck, Loops is a fucking 9 o'clock shotgun. And he's like, well, it's got to be because of members. And
Of course it has to be. What are
It
you going
doesn't
to
have
tee you
to
up in
be.
a tournament at 1 o'clock, bro?
It stays light in Edmonton until fucking 11 in the
Yeah,
summer.
but 9 o'clock seems very reasonable, bro. The Jeter, they fucking tee off at 7 a.m. It's murder.
Granted, I'm not. In Loops' defense, my activities the night before cost me. Right, like I was with PJ.
I would imagine so, yeah.
But my group, I would show up, Daryl Cook and the boys, and they would have warm Jägermeister on the first hole for me, ready to rock. So I'm like,
It would get cold by the third hole.
the third hole.
Nice, but.
so he brings out his son the 1 year, Loops. Who don't mind me telling this story to you? So his son comes out.
His son might.
Yeah. And his son's this like cool little kid, but he's chirping me. And I go to Daryl. I said, Daryl, you mind if I fucking if I put your kid in this place a little bit right here? He's like,
Kid's 16.
No, he's like 17, 16. About drinking. He's drinking with me. So I start drinking with this kid, and like 3 holes later, he's puking outside the cart. He can hardly walk up, and his dad, his old man, is like, that a boy. And years later, 2 or 3 years later, he comes up to me, and he's like, Obi, you taught me a lesson that day to stay in my lane. And I'm like, yeah, but don't be poking the bear when it
You
comes
can't run with the big dogs. You don't bark when they go by, huh?
Yeah, exactly. But that was a great tournament. We always had a blast, right?
I like that.
That kid can't handle you on the course. Between golf and the booze, no chance.
Not the booze. Back then, too, I could, so
Because now you're just a
'Cause
squeaky
now-
clean
now-
golfer out there.
I'll give you one night hard as I got, but I can't give you back-to-back nights anymore.
I can't
And
go
we got a
back to
bit-
back either, bro.
We got a big round today, so
I bet you do. I heard. I heard.
Cons, you're in the bullpen. You're next up.
I just want to touch on one thing on the hockey aspect before we get going, Loops. You know, me and you talk a lot. You're a big sports guy. You watch the game now. Hey, listen, you know I love the way you played the game. You went to the net. You finished your checks. Man, in Toronto, you were a fan favorite. Everywhere you played, the boys loved you. What do you think? I know you don't watch much regular season, but when you watch hockey now, as an ex All-Star, what's your thoughts on it? Like,
Well, it's several things. First of all, obviously, anyone can see that the game's shifted into more of a skill game. The third and fourth lines now are filled with young, skilled guys. They used to be filled with fucking Dan Bilesmas and Craig Johnsons and guys like.
Disco Dan.
But the other thing is, once the playoffs get back going, you see this every single year, and I don't understand why certain teams build their team a certain way. The teams with the guys that are old, veteran, not old, but veteran player, Joe Pavelski's, Corey Perry's, these
Patty
guys are
Maroon.
having success in the playoffs, whereas some teams, Toronto's a good example.
Yeah, you can say it. Fuck
Toronto's a really good example. And the team is super skilled, and I'm sure they have possibility to be a good team, but you need some of these guys that play a certain way, and a lot of teams are building their team in a different fashion with young guys getting paid a lot of money, which is good. They're good players, but there has to be some type of balance. Like, who's won the cup? Washington,
St. Louis.
St. Louis, veterans.
Pittsburghs have always had veteran guys.
Tampa and Dallas, both kind of veteran teams with some really good young guys. I don't know. That's what I see.
Yeah.
When the chips are on the table, it's still they're guys that a little more physical and a little more experience.
Yeah.
Obi, you watch the game a lot now. I have been watching it a lot more
Yeah.
too since I've been back from Switzerland. But the game, it's exciting. It's exciting the way the fucking speed is, the way every guy can shoot the puck like Loops could. Loops could
That
shoot
is
the
true.
Except
Loops-
Cogliano.
Wrist curls, Cogliano, this summer. Wrist curls, buddy.
I mean, growing up with Loops, He was always big. When he hit his growth spurt, he started fucking wrecking guys too, but he always could snap it. And you used to know that right off the hop too when you seen him play, right? You got a story of him
I
in
got
training
great.
camp?
Yeah, thank you, Up. You teed me up. So I was an 8th round pick coming to rookie camp. And the captain's coming in for the Justin. And there you go. 29.99 a bottle. 29.99 a bottle.
Get back to cooler territory.
Yeah. So I'm an 8th round pick for different reasons. And I come to rookie camp where I'm in a rookie tournament in El Segundo. And we're going for our first practice. And I'm eyeing up these guys. And I'm thinking, fuck. Like, even though I'm an 8th round pick, I think I got as good a shot as anyone. And we do the old fucking Canada Cup drill, which is, I think, the best drill in hockey, where the guy swings and the other guy swings. And I'm watching Lupuls. I'm like, fuck, that's how you turn him over there. And then he gets
give us a little bit. Explain that. What is the
Canada Cup?
drill?
It's the oldest hockey drill.
Well, what is it?
And it's done in every practice, whether it's your pre-game skate, which is done, the day of the game, which is just a 25-minute light skate. It's basically you have guys in both ends on opposite corners.
Right.
And then in those corners, if you just go up to the blue line, you have another set of guys.
Yeah.
So there's 3 lines on each end, and it's just swinging. There's no stopping. There's no starting. It's a shot, get a little pass, and then you're done.
It's a feel-good drill.
It's like
feel good.
basic.
It's
It's like
fucking
the
touch the
basic
biscuit.
101 drill. Everybody touches, passes, shoots.
I'll tell you what, it's the one drill if you have 15, from our era, 15 hockey vets out there, we all look at each other like...
You won't fuck it up.
What do you want to start with? Canada Cup? Fucking right. So Loops comes down...
Loops is a master of the
stopping,
Canada.
No
Cup.
stopping. As a hockey,
on the groins, the back.
You feel like a fucking NHLer, Cons. You're flowing. So I see Loops doing the couple crossovers. He get nice crossovers, eh? Like the way he
Fucking
turned him over. I'm
powerful,
like,
man.
wow, that's a powerful player there. Didn't see that in the Ontario League against the Oshawa Generals. And then he comes in, Cons, and he puts this puck, we call it the elbow, cross the seam, short side titty, and it comes off his blade in half a second. And I'm
Okay,
like,
what the fuck is that? What short side titty?
Okay, sorry, okay.
The fuck is that?
Okay,
Short
short side shelf, top shelf.
Top shelf.
Where the crossbar and the post meet. That's
Yeah,
called,
I know that much. So that's
you're
that's-
asking me what it
that's
is.
Top
so
shelf titty.
That's top shelf titty.
Short side.
Short
Short
side. So he
side
went-
titty.
I
Short side's
apologize.
like coming in. That's
So
shooting on this side
The
of the net.
same
when you
side
come
he
in.
was on, I fucked that up. That's my bad.
You're going to need subtitles on this podcast, and they're speaking English.
So, anyways, he goes in and puts it like
Short side titty.
Short side titty when only the puck could fucking fit. And I'm thinking, if that's how everybody shoots the puck in the National League, fuck, I'm going to be working at
You
General
need a little
Motors.
more
I'm
seasoning.
gonna at General Motors with Patty O'Brien here next year.
You've told me that story before.
Yeah,
Like,
so
the
that-
first time you saw Lupul shoot the puck, you're like, fuck, maybe I'm just not good enough
Maybe
to play in this league.
I'm in the wrong business here. And so I went out and got in 4 fights in the rookie camp. And then I made the team come. I made main camp. And you remember the night we had in El Segundo after they announced?
Yeah,
you were
yeah,
going to main camp.
Segundo.
No. We
El
go to
Segundo.
we go to Sharky's and we get in one. And yeah, we found a couple girls. So I end up somehow on the beach, and I show up on the bus as 8th round pick to go to main camp. I got the same suit on, and I got sand coming out of my fucking suit and in my shoes. Lupul too. I was so excited up here to be on the fucking.
This
I'm
was in
going
the
to main-
rookie camp? This
So
is in the
rookie
middle of
camp-
summer, right?
Yeah, no, rookie camp ended. Obviously, Lupus was 7th overall, one behind you. So he was going no matter what. But I didn't know if I was going to main camp. Like fuck, I was 8th rounder.
But you're
So-
going to enjoy that fucking summer camp.
No, but this is no.
How
this-
dare they bring us to Southern California and just let the guys go buck diddy?
That's
Didn't
where
they
it all
give you
went
guys
wrong.
like a white
That's
van?
where it all went
They gave
wrong.
these guys a fucking van for the week to drive around, probably half cut, and to hit all the little bars.
Yeah, it was crazy. But it was our first camp. The oldest guy it was Chris Kunitz, right?
Yeah, Cooney.
And so they give us 2 of these white, like, I suppose you'd call them just a trademark pedophile
Hertz van,
van. Like, there's enough room for half the team in there. So we're driving these things around with no driver. And now we're leaving these vans all over Southern California. we're going for one night up in Hollywood. We're like, we better leave this van. We'll pick it tomorrow. We'll pick it back up tomorrow with the other one. Konopka and those guys took it to Vegas. I took the fucking
Good thing
vans
they
to
gave us
Vegas.
2 because we always needed the other one the next day to go get the fucking one we left down in Newport or Huntington, or you guys went to Hollywood the one night. But it was crazy how they let us come in for those 2 weeks, and we didn't skate. Remember, Loops?
Yeah, it was just workout.
Workout.
Was Konopka part of that crew with you guys?
He was, yeah.
You got to tell the Konopka story about when they called him up and he was going to wear his number
Oh,
66
yeah,
trade.
yeah.
Tell the story.
The year before was the lockout year, so I went back and played with Cincinnati. and met Konopka, and I played on his line the whole year. So now me and him we're pretty tight. And he comes in for his first NHL game, probably halfway through the next year. And he comes in, he's like, Lups, I got to talk to you. I'm like, what? He's like, you got to go in there and talk to the trainers. He goes, you know me. This is a dream come true. This is the highlight of my fucking life to this point, playing in this hockey game. But if you think I'm going out on that ice wearing number 66 for my first ever, he's like, look at me. Haven't you seen me play? I'm like, oh, fuck.
You see me skate.
We'll just turn it upside down. It'll be 99.
Yeah, you see me skate. He's like, I can't go out there like this. It's fucking embarrassing.
I can't play like him. I don't look like him.
So you went
I'm
to
not
the
French.
I said, but it was too late. This
too
is like
late.
right before. Yeah. So he had to go out there. He had to play an NHL regular season game wearing 66, and the comments that were coming from the other bench, I was laughing. Hey, easy fucking Mario.
Could you
It's
imagine?
an easy way to get in your first couple scraps, though, because
Yeah.
someone's grabbing you.
The one thing I want to touch on before we move into everything but hockey is, Lups, I want to talk about your time in Toronto. Listen, we don't have to get into how it ended if you don't want to, whatever, but just talk about playing there. I remember going there with you in the summer, and man, like, you were the fucking face of the team, and you did great stuff in charity. But I remember the one quote, Don Sherry, I'll never forget it. So we're talking about the epic Hockey Night in Canada towel.
But which you still don't have. How about this?
It's fucking on uppy.
It's coming. When we go to Riv next time, we'll bring it for you.
Fucking Christ.
So
You're not coming, but
I'm watching
Leave it at the front door since I'm obviously not good enough to play at the
Fuck, I
rim.
forgot it again.
I told you start turning the shoulders, you'll be playing
in
a
the
riv.
wash.
But until those shoulders start turning,
When
right?
it's going in the cup, bro, I'm not turning anything. Go ahead.
So I remember, and we're going to bring up the Game 7 against Boston. Sorry, I want to just, but that playoff series, I'm in Denver watching it, and the Hockey Night in Canada, cameras got Lups. And Don Sherry, who we all know, and Don Sherry's like, I love this Leaf team. Look at Lupul coming in here looking like a movie star. And it's Lups in like a 3-piece suit with his hair fucking perfect. I'm like, that's unreal. But I know it didn't end the way you wanted to, but just talk about playing in Toronto, being an all-star there. And it must have been pretty fucking sick, right?
yeah, it was great. I mean, the thing I didn't know about Toronto as much when I got there is how great of a city it is. Because I'd only been in there for like a night here, have dinner or whatever, have some drinks, run around Toronto a little bit. But I never realized how it's like a real worldly city. Like it's awesome.
Oh, it's a
awesome place.
major city,
It's
Toronto.
a major world city, and it's great. And the organization's great. Ownership, the way you're treated there was a step up on everyone. Well, Philly was good too, but it's a step up there. You're
like
you're playing for the Yankees. Yeah,
I always circled those days I was going to Toronto.
I
No,
know.
but
So does every
yeah,
team.
yeah.
So does every team.
But Lups, I remember like you walking around the city, and I was only there with you probably in the off season, but you'd walk through the city, and then I thought in Vancouver. I mean, obviously I wasn't near the player you were, but I would go to Vancouver. Hey, everywhere you went, people were like, "Hey, Lups." Did that wear on you at all? Did you love it? I mean, when I was with you, you seemed to love it because hey, what's up, Lups? Hey, Lups. Did you like that, or near the end where you're like, "Fuck, I wish I could just go for dinner and no one would fucking bug me," kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, when I first got there, the first couple of years, and I was a lot younger, and yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
I fucking ate it up, and I'm like, it made me play better. I thought it was like you have that pressure, but some guys don't like it. But then the last couple of years we were there, I mean, we're a rebuilding team. We're the worst in the league, and you don't want to be at the grocery store with someone telling you, Lupul, you fucking suck. Like that's but
I'm just looking for some avocados here. Bro.
Yeah. It takes a certain players are going to have a lot of success there and really enjoy and relish that attention, and other guys, they don't like it. Phil Kessel was a guy that he still played very well while he was there, but he did not like it one bit. Like, he doesn't like being the center of attention. He doesn't like talking to the media. He
likes a Coke.
Yo, Lups, when we were in Ottawa
Yeah.
for the All-Star game, and we were like walking to those bars on what's it called, Obes? Market Street?
Market Street.
Market Street. And it was fucking really cold. Little cold for my taste. And I grew up on Long Island. It was a little cold for my taste. But we would walk from bar to bar, and people were like screaming at you, and not everything was complimentary, but it was also all in good fun. Because I remember saying to one guy, like, "Yo, dude, are you fucking crazy? Why are you talking?" I said to a guy, like, "Why are you talking to my fucking boy
fucking
like
all-star
that?"
game.
And he's like, "Oh, I'm kidding. I love, you know." And I realized that, like, he wasn't talking about you personally. This was a fanatical hockey fan that just wasn't a Leafs fan, and he felt obligated to run his mouth to you because you were a Leaf, but you personally he loved. You know, so it was like, and you said, yeah, no, it's nice to be appreciated because maybe you don't get the same appreciation in Anaheim or LA, or maybe you do in Anaheim, but maybe not LA or some other places, right?
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way. It was an unreal experience to play there. A lot of guys are going to really, like I said, relish that opportunity and have a lot of success. And other guys, it's just not going to be for them.
Not for them.
Like some people they will play 1 year there and just be like, I can't do this. I don't like going to the grocery store and getting noticed. I don't like some asshole being mean to me in the stands and my wife's hearing it or my dad's hearing it or something. And I wouldn't change it any other way. It's awesome.
Because you're a big game, bro. You're a big game player.
Yeah, and I admire guys who get
You never got the opportunity to play in Canada.
I never did.
I always told you that you would have really fucking loved it. Like
I would have loved it. I really haven't been able to live or play in Canada. My experience back in junior with the World Juniors in Canada with Joffrey back in 2001 was my experience of like everyone in Canada coast to coast knowing what you're doing, watching you on TV, walking around the streets and people yelling at you. But I admired Lupuls for the way he did it in Edmonton as a young player, as a highly touted hometown kid, which I'm sure was a crazy experience in itself. And then, you're 6 years in Toronto with, ups and downs and a team that was, close to, if you guys beat Boston in a game 7 there, you guys take it probably right to the house. But, I look back at your experience, Lupuls, and I admire the way you fucking handled yourself. In Philly, you were a fucking absolute beast. Scoring huge goals for our team, one of the biggest goals in Flyers history.
Yeah.
Well, he had a walk-off, didn't he?
He had a walk-off.
The walk-off.
An
The
absolute
thing about
walk-off.
Lupuls is I think people sometimes, when I piss this, is how, like, and Appa, you can attest to this, and we're not going to stroke Lupuls the whole time, and we're going to chirp him eventually, but he's always a pro.
sure.
Say what you want. Lupuls
Hardest
is the
working
guy
guy
in
in
there
the
working
summer.
out. I worked with him in the summertime, and listen, Cons, Monday morning workouts.
A little slow.
I think I got to get there Monday.
Tomorrow's another day.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get Tuesday, Wednesday,
9
Thursday.
a.m. workout. We'll
We'll go
Wednesday and Thursday are going to dial it up.
We'll go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, text Cons Thursday, see what's rocking in Hollywood, and then we'll go back up there Saturday maybe. But Lupuls was always, I'm just saying, the way you handle yourself in the meeting, the shit you did, I'm just going to say it, the way it ended in Toronto, we don't have to get into it, but just from my opinion, I didn't think it was right, and I know the people in the fans still love you there, buddy, and that's all I was getting at.
Who handled who worse? Lou Lamoriello handling you, Cons, or Lupul?
Oh, he boycotted you both.
Jesus,
You
listen,
got
Lou,
fucking
Lou
both
won't-
thrown
Did he
on Lou
access
Island.
both?
Lou
Jesus.
doesn't acknowledge me. He doesn't acknowledge. Listen,
took your
I said,
fucking
don't
pass away.
Don't let his body language fool you. He loves me. He loves me. Lou loves me, as does Trotz, Barry Trotz.
Trotzy's
They
gotta
love me.
Trotzy,
Yeah.
Trotzy's
Listen,
a beauty.
I don't need Lou Lamoriello's cell phone number. Just don't want any business. I'm going to come in the back door.
what happened?
I want to sit in the box and watch the game, and I want to exit gracefully and peacefully without any trouble. That's all I want.
Hey, tell the story about in Long Island with Lupuls when he came down and he got the empty netter and cross-checked the bars.
Jesus, dude.
Tell the
This-
story.
Lupuls, this is a great story. So I remember it was the night before Christmas Eve. It's a Saturday night game at the Coliseum. It's the Leafs and the Islanders. I don't think there's any real playoff implications. I think you're looking at a couple of low-seeded teams battling for the 8th spot in the playoffs. But, I'm there and I'm with my family and my nieces are young and, Lupuls and I have a plan. Like, when the game is over, I know Lupuls ain't fucking around and she's getting in the shower. I know he's ready to go. So I'm like, all right, I'll meet you down there or whatever time, and the game ends. And so it's the third period and the net is empty. The Islanders are fucking trying to swarm around and tie it up. And it's like literally like right in front of the Islander bench. Fucking Lupul and Tavares get tangled up. Lupul absolutely dumps Tavares. He was like 19 years old. Lupul dumps him, puts him halfway through the ice, and wheels around and hammers one into the empty net.
A little salt in the wound.
The fucking place goes dead silent. And my brother turns to my nieces and says, yeah, that's your Uncle Kevin's buddy. There you go. My niece is like, why are you friends with him? I'm like, no, yeah, just it's a game, but in real life, he's a good guy. You know what I mean? So long story short, my nieces and my brother leave. I go down into the basement of the Coliseum, and I'm like, fuck, man, I don't want to see Lupuls. I'm a little afraid of Lupuls. I would rather just meet him outside. I hear, Cons!
He's in the Islander room.
Cons! I'm like, how you doing? Nice to meet you, man. Who are you? Hey, what's your name? I'm like, fucking Lupuls, I'll meet you in the parking lot. Get the fuck out of here. What are you
grab
trying
an
to
Uber
get me
for the
killed?
boys.
I'm gonna fucking see you up there. And then, but Lupuls has the best thing. He's like, Cons, when did Doug Wade start coaching?
Yeah, he was in there. I was like,
Lupuls thought he was still on the team.
Oh, he's a
Wait, what are
legend back where
coaches?
Loops and I are from. Fucking Dougie Waite, man, Edmonton Oilers. Loops, I'd like to ask you about a coach that you had. You had him twice,
Which
Mike
one?
Babcock.
I had two of them twice.
I know. So two questions. But so Mike Babcock coaches you when you're a rookie, right?
Yes.
And then you have him for most of your tenure in Toronto. I want to know what you thought of him, the first time around, and then as a coach in Toronto. And then, if he does get another job, there's rumors around that he's going to get another job eventually. But do you think he'll change his style of coaching? And do you think maybe he should with the game the way it is right now?
He has to. It's the only way. So when a couple of guys come out, who was it? Like we're talking like Chris Chelios and Franzen and Mike Commodore and guys are like come out and have some
Call me hate some.
Real
Just-
dudes.
Yeah.
Like,
they're
first
like,
ballot
but they
dudes.
have some, and they're saying like this guy was such a prick, like
He's
to
a
the point
fucking
where he was
asshole.
almost abusive. But those are real 30-year-old guys. Imagine
Tough,
what
too, not like-
tough.
not
Yeah,
little
imagine
kids.
what how you if you're gonna try and treat this millennial athlete like that right now, it's not gonna go over well.
Gen Z,
Like, yeah,
Gen Z athletes.
these guys are. It's just different. They're. I don't want to just say soft, but
Lupo, what do you think of was it Babcock that made Mitch Marner do that?
yeah.
Would you do that if you were a rookie? And I mean, I guess that's a question for all you guys. If somebody said that to you, I mean, if I were able to join the cast of The Sopranos, and at the midway point, and they said, "I want you to write a list of the fucking laziest motherfuckers," I'd be like,
totally.
I don't want to put Gandolfini at the bottom of the list. You
Where's
end
my
up dead.
marker? Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, just that style of coaching is done, and I've got coached like that pretty much my whole career. And you just become used to it. But kids are coming into the league with a different mindset now, and different things are going to make them play well. And being scared and fucking abused a bit is not going to do it for the new style athlete.
Yeah,
Maybe some of them, but overall, these guys need not to be coddled, but they need, it's just a different style.
You can't rip them and fucking abuse them.
Well,
And I think everyone deserves a second chance. If he's able to swallow his pride and just be like, what I was doing, some of this shit was a little offside. And then you go back and revisit some of the mistakes you've made and change your coaching style. I would say for sure he should have another chance. But
Yeah.
the guys, there's a bit of an ego issue there.
That's what I
And
was just gonna ask you, Luke.
can you swallow your pride and say, like, fuck, I did some things that I probably shouldn't have, and I feel bad that
Yeah.
Johan Franzen couldn't sleep for a fucking month. Like,
Yeah.
You got to
Can
ask yourself in third person. Can Mike Babcock change the way?
That's when I knew he was going to get fired. I believe.
oh
in
no,
Mike
that
Babcock.
was the last straw.
but
I
Luke,
saw that.
Also,
interview.
too, you can call. I mean, am I right? I mean, you tell me. It's one thing to call guys out, and it's even one thing to be a little hard on guys. But at a certain point, you cross the line where it's like you're not being hard on the guy. That's literally abuse.
Yeah.
You're abusing the guy, and that's the line.
And you're not getting the most out of them. Like,
Yeah.
there's very few people who just, if you can abuse to a point where they're like, now you're going to get the best from them. That's silly. Like, that's-
Yeah, it's such a fine line that you have to walk. Whether you're a coach, whether you're an older guy, trying to get a young guy to buy in. It's as old school as you want to be now. It's just things have changed. You have to be.
And I just think Loops, and you used to touch on it. Like I think Bab's ego got so big, making 8 bananas he was making. Like you tell the funny story where he went to the players, where it's like Lupul, Bozak, someone else, and Babcock, and Babs has got his own card with him standing behind the bench, signing his own fucking. Like, are you kidding me, Babcock? Fucking like enough's, brother. Like
For sure.
Do you hate him, Loops?
No,
No,
I
Loops
don't
doesn't
hate
hate
him.
anyone.
I don't. I think he was actually he's a really intelligent hockey guy and a really hard worker. But half of your job is dealing with different personalities. So if you can't get that part fixed, I don't think he's going to be back in the NHL until you can learn to. I mean, the athlete's just different now. You know?
The thing I respect about hockey players and even you, Loops, you guys are so. You guys have a certain class and you take the high road, right? Like, we're not going to get you, even though Brian jumped and said, Loops doesn't hate anybody, which is a lie, right? Of course, there's people that you don't like.
Yeah.
What is it?
He's hated me a lot of nights.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I hated you Saturday when we were supposed to hang out. And
Yeah,
Friday's my day. You know it.
What
What
is it about you guys and the high road? And that's not a knock, because I think it's classy, but like, it's always the high road. Do you not ever get the urge, Loops, to just like fire off, or Scotty? You know, I mean, I know you've taken to Twitter to
You
tell
got to
the
do it
Dallas
on the
Stars.
ice, Cons. It was more of a thing. You do it on the ice. You shouldn't bring anything to the media. You shouldn't light fires. It shouldn't be lit. Giving anyone else opportunity to gain. You know, in the playoffs, you always see teams respecting the other team, whether it's like they're playing great, you know, tough call, but the referees, we got to stay away. You don't want to give anyone else fuel. In a way, if you have something to fucking say,
you know what
and you
I'm
want to
saying,
get it out,
right?
fucking say it.
You know what I'm saying,
But yes,
right?
we got our shirts,
saying,
like
like-
shirts are buttoned up, our ties are done. We got
You wore a bow tie to the entourage premiere. That much
Fucking right, that thing. We'll share that.
No, but I
picture.
think Collins
Yeah,
is
well-
asking Loops, like, was there ever a point with what happened in Toronto you handled with class? Was there ever a point where you wanted to pop off, besides one time you put that
Yeah.
snowboarding video out, which, by the way, was a sick picture.
Yeah, it was.
Sick, but
was heliboarding.
Yeah, heliboarding. But you
That
just
was
said,
heliboarding.
you just said,
that
That was
changes
after I
things.
dropped from 30,000 feet.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, I know you come from a good family, Loops. I've met your mom and your dad, so I know that you're raised with the class. But it's a question to all you guys. Do you ever want to go, fuck these motherfuckers, and just really just fucking let it fly, especially being out of the league?
Yeah, I mean, what's that going to do for me, really? Nothing. But I'll motherfuck some guys behind their back to these two guys all day. But
I mean, Collins, I popped off when I was in,
Well,
when
yeah,
I was in
no,
the
Shane,
league. So.
I'm excluding you from that group because you were very great in the presser. But, it's always like just like all positivity and, like even like Mike Richards, who I always thought got a raw deal. You watch him, you can't get this guy to say a bad word about anybody. I'm like, yo, Mike, tell somebody to fuck off,
We're just good guys, Cons. We're good guys. So let's move into something that I always had when I knew our season was over, year-end benders. All right? Loops was my year-end bender
What
guy.
do we call them now when we go on a bender?
It's just Tuesday.
It's just
Tuesday
No, it
bender.
used to be. But I want you guys to talk about your year-end bender in Ibiza, because I know that's one for you.
Oh,
And
that
then
was a
I'll
great
talk to
time.
the one that me and Loops had.
Oh,
So
man.
Tell your Ibiza one.
we had no fucking idea. So it was Uppy and I.
What year?
Mike Richards, Jeff
This was
Carter.
we lost out in the conference final.
We lost the
Cons.
conference
so it's
final,
like,
yeah.
it's the end of May. We were expecting to fucking go all the way. When you're that far in
And
the
this
playoffs,
is right-
Loops, you don't ever expect things to just end.
Right,
You're like,
right. And this is kind of when this is a while back when Ibiza was just gaining all this traction, and you just hear like Ibiza, and we didn't know what the fuck it was.
2007, I think, Cons.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've been there.
yeah.
Obviously.
And we flew there,
We
but
know
we
that.
had nothing. We just got to Ibiza and we were just winging it.
So that you, Richie, and Karts flew over.
Oh,
and
we went to Amsterdam first.
Got high as kites.
Yeah,
did some
yeah,
mushrooms.
and this is pre-legalized weed. Amsterdam meant
Was the
something
only
different
place
in
to
those
do it.
days.
and
It did.
mushrooms
Yeah, you're like,
too.
let's go.
Yeah. And then I can't even remember how
I was
this
going
goes.
to say, what do you remember?
Yeah,
You guys
we-
end
so
up.
this is
I
what
remember the story. So you went with Richards and Carter, right?
Richie,
Yeah.
Carter,
And Richie and
Loops.
Carter, I don't know about Rich, but Carter tapped out after 3 days, right?
No. So they go to Amsterdam. I had a girlfriend at the time, so I convinced her that I'm going to end up just going over a week, whatever.
To this quaint little island called
called
Ibiza.
Ibiza.
Relaxation, spa,
It's
Silent
mostly just a spa type deal.
So I hum over. I get to Barcelona first. So we started in Barcelona for 3 nights. Loops, Richie, Karts come in from Amsterdam. They already got 2-3 days under their belt. They're time adjusted. I'm just coming in, fucking guns a blazing. So we do three days in Barcelona. Like Loop said, we at this time we didn't know fuck.
We
all.
didn't know how to get a table.
There
We
wasn't
didn't know how
apps
to,
to
like,
figure
yeah,
out
yeah.
where.
Text con.
We didn't have cons to fucking get us in the club. So
I know a couple guys over
we
there.
do three.
I got
We
a
do
guy.
3 days there, and then we jump on a bird and we hit Ibiza. and we had planned to be in Ibiza for 5 days.
It's a tough 5 days.
Well, I'm talking
Long 5 days.
nightclubs. So anyway,
going,
so
keep
Karts and Richie, after the 5 days, they're like, you know what? It's time. We're gonna jump on the bird and head home. And Loops and I were like, fuck, we still got the list. I think it's a long weekend here. And at the time, Ibiza didn't
Training
open
camps in 4
until
months.
it was like the end of May, and their season was just starting like beginning of June. So we're like, we're told is, next week things are gonna be fucking popping here. So of course, Loops and I stay for another fucking 3-4 days. I remember we went golfing in Ibiza, and at the time, so we go golfing in Ibiza, and we rent our clubs. And at the time, like both of us combined, we had no more fucking cash on us. They wouldn't take a credit card, blah, blah, blah. So we rent our clubs with like the $200 that we had. And in order to get your fucking $200 back for us to now get home, you needed to bring all your clubs back.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Well, on the one green,
Bunch of sticklers there.
Those
Luke
bastards.
and I must have had a couple of hundies going, like 100 on the front, 100 on the back. And anyway, I fucking flub a couple chips and I fucking launch my sand wedge up in this tree. And it's stuck up there. So now I'm like, fuck, boy, we need that 200, boy. We need this cash back. I'm going to just climb this tree. So I fucking climbed
on the roof of the
I climbed
Buddy,
a full tree to get my fucking sandwich back.
It doesn't surprise me.
Ibiza. And then we just parlayed that right into space probably again. But we went on the right side of the club.
Speaking of throwing his wedge, you played Big Canyon. On 17 the other day, I'm sorry, I'm going off topic here. Updog chunks a chip on 17 and hucks a 60 degree over the wall onto MacArthur, which is one of the busiest spots, Benedict Street in Newport, and has to Billy Goat over the fucking wall and finds it on the other side of the road.
Of the Meridian. I crossed the traffic going west to the beach, and it was on the other side going
Could
east.
you imagine driving down MacArthur,
You
watching
should've-
Uppy trying to find his fucking club?
Oh, it was
I
hilarious.
also can't imagine if it came right through my windshield.
I know, and because I'm a lefty,
He's
it's
also
probably the only
wanted
lefty.
in Orange County on attempted murder charges.
So now we've pushed our flights back a couple days, and we go out to this one party, and the whole place is fucked up. Like, you go for dinner at like 11 p.m. I don't know. You're at the
Literally,
clubs.
dude, if you walk into the club in Ibiza at 11 o'clock, you're standing there by yourself.
It's like 4 o'clock. It gets humming.
How many naps did you have to have in Ibiza before you went out then?
Take a lot of naps, bro.
Speaking of naps.
Yeah, so we come back and we party and we get back to our room and we go to sleep with our flight the next day. But at this point, the clock is just so...
I know where this is going.
We sleep and we both wake up and I'm like, holy fuck, Uppy, it's 2 o'clock. We got a 5 o'clock flight. We got to get out of here. Now we're putting the pieces back together. It's 2 o'clock the next day. We missed the flight by. We just slept for 20 hours.
24 hours. That's a good shutdown. I know what you feel like now. That was a good
Our flight
shutdown.
was yesterday.
Hey, when the body tells you, got to listen to the body
Yeah,
when
yeah.
she speaks to you. I just remember you boys telling that story. That was always one I wanted to be on. And we could get in the London one. We will next time. But I'm going to tell the 1 year end Bender story where Loops is playing. It doesn't matter. We go to Coachella. You want to?
I want to chime in because after we got back from fucking Ibiza on a 14-day bender, we're like, oh my God, you ever heard of this fucking music festival called Bonnaroo?
Oh, yeah.
This is our first year at Bonnaroo.
Another thing you guys have been fucking leaving me out of.
Cons.
Cons, you had the golf cart. Cons could have done Bonnaroo.
So Jimmy Dowd, our buddy, and
Jersey Jimmy Dowd.
I was seeing a girl in Nashville at the time, and she was a super cool hippie chick, loved music. She would go to Bonnaroo all the time. So basically, we got back with like 2 days to go, and we're like, fuck, let's go to Bonnaroo. And then at the time, Aves was down there. So Aves actually sent us a text and was like, hey, when you're here, meet my boy Jason Weinstock. Shouts out to Weinstock for hooking the boys up. But we went into a fucking nice 4-day for our first Bonnaroo experience of all time. We stayed in a fucking RV.
Whoa.
Our little we had this little guy come in and he had the RVs for us, and then he offered us every sort of drug we could possibly need, which at the time we're like, he was throwing out these names and we're like, what the fuck is that?
What is it?
He had like, the sleepers and the uppers and the fucking weed and the mushrooms.
We're like, we're just here to drink beer, which is not what you do at Bonnaroo.
No.
That's a
too
lie.
hot.
That's
No,
a lie.
and the
too
first
fucking hot.
the first day we go in
lie.
and we fucking slam probably 30 beers in the afternoon, me, you, and Carter.
Yeah.
And we end up fucking going, okay, we got to have a little shutdown before this night begins because Metallica was playing, which was the first headlining show. And our fucking RV was parked right behind the stage where
You got to take a nap.
Boys, we woke up to absolute rockets. They were shooting fucking
shooting
rockets
fireworks.
in the sky. It was like, whoa. Man, it was probably still from the Ibiza buzz that we had, but
That's how you play. That's a parlay right into a parlay.
But what that bender did for us was the story. Jimmy Dowd fucking brought us to My Morning Jacket there. We got our first My Morning Jacket experience.
Were you going to transition into the Australia?
I was going to Australia.
Yeah,
That was
nice.
the 1 year end bender where we go to Coachella, or I hit Loops up at the end of the season. He's like, I'm like, what would you do for the year end bender? He's like, Australia. I'm like, that's next level, but fuck, why not? So we'll do it. So we hit up Andy and Alex Goebel. We get late night tickets to Coachella. We get pinned. We're at the airport with Andy Mack, our boy Andy Mack. And all of a sudden we hear paging passenger Lupul, passenger O'Brien. So we almost missed our flight going in. But long story short, the gist of it was we get to Australia. Cons, we actually hit you up for a little guidance in Australia and Sydney.
Remember?
I don't know if you remember that.
You sent us a guy.
So me and Loops are doing pretty well to start the trip off. And like every girl that we met, Australian girls I love them. They're amazing. They're fun. They're like, you guys are the nicest guys in the world. Sounds of summer.
Irish crickets.
And me and Loops, I turned to Loops and I'm like, fuck Loops.
We've
Like,
been nice.
I,
I
don't
guess
know. I
we
guess
paid
we're
for
being
the
paid for
cab.
Were you
dinner,
guys
but-
insulted by the nice
but no,
comment?
well, I'm like, all we
we
did was
did.
hook up with them and tell them to get out the next day because we had more plans. And then this girl from Toronto, I can't remember her name, she's like, come out with this rugby team and our girlfriends. So we were like, all right. So we get on this fucking, well, we missed the boat, but we met them out after the boat. And we go hang out with these rugby teams. And after 5 minutes of hanging out with these rugby players, I turn to Loops. I'm like, okay, I understand why they think we're nice guys now. They are just abusing these girls. Like, me and Loops are like, so sure enough, we're in fucking Bondi Beach. Me and Loops sitting on the patio.
What a spot,
What a
Bondi.
spot.
Yeah,
And
Bondi
we
Beach.
fucking, two guys walking by the boardwalk.
Two shirtless dudes.
No, Leafs
hanging out.
Nation, they go, Lupul. So we had these two guys. Harrison was the one guy name, and Small Paul was the other guy's name. We call him, remember? So this Small Paul guy won't
Tough
leave us.
name.
Remember, we're gonna drop him off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we go to drop him off, and he's been lingering. So we go in there. He's going to run in and get his stuff, and Loops is like, "What do we do?" I'm like, "We fucking leave him
Get
right
the
here.
fuck
Let's get the
outta
fuck
here.
out of here right now.
Go.
Go." So Loops like, "Can't do it." So long story short,
Of course.
Can't
High
do it.
road.
Yeah, you
High
can't do
road
it.
Lupul.
So we go up to
Well, no, and he wasn't staying in my room. He was staying in Obi's
so then
hotel
we go to Byron
Yo,
Bay.
he was sleeping at your pad,
Listen
bro.
to this. Listen to this,
sleeping
bro.
on
Listen to
Obi's
this.
sofa.
So we go to Byron Bay, right? This is the hotel where it's nice. We're going up there. So we got fucking Small Paul with us. And I turned to Lupul. I'm like,
Your roommate at this point.
I know Loops, he ain't staying with me. And Loops, fuck you, Loops. I'm pulling rank on you here. So the first morning I wake
He
up.
loved Obi, though. He kind of like
wanted
me.
to
He loved
to be
Obi.
roommates with Obi.
Yeah.
I wake up at this fucking 5-star hotel in Byron Bay, like beautiful view. I'm like, oh, this is good living, National League. And I look over, and there's Small Paul, buck naked on my couch with his ass hanging out. And I went, Loops, it's enough. He's done, bro. I don't give a fuck. He's out of here. And finally, we kicked him away. But
How do you say, look, Paul, it's just Small Paul. It's just not working out.
I
I
said,
know you're
fella.
small and all, and you fit on the fucking couch, but
So
you're
then,
out.
just to wrap the story, sorry, I'm kind of dragging on here, but so now we got to get back for Stu Cat's bachelor party. I know you love Stu Cat. Cons.
I love myself some Stu Cat.
So me and Loops, we found these two Australian girls down there that I'll be honest, I fell in love with
surprised
the
you
one.
left.
Yeah.
So Loops is
knowing you fall hard.
should have
Loops
stayed.
is wailing on my door, and I'm like, we don't have to fucking leave, do we, bro? He's like, we gotta go, Obes. It's fucking Stu Cat's bachelor party. But I wanted to stay with you for another. I could have stayed another 2 years.
Yeah, it was
Another
great.
lifetime.
We were surfing too, and surfing was actually it's pretty fun now.
You guys got attacked by great white sharks. You missed Stu Cat's back.
Oh, this is great. So I run into this one girl that I know from Toronto down there, and she's working for a skydiving company. And she's like, "You guys want to skydive?
Wanna go skydiving?
Yeah. So she's gonna set us up. And we were thinking about doing it the next day. She goes, Obi's he's on his year-end bender, so he's got some bender weight. She goes, "Is your friend over 250?" And I'm like, Obes, you over
Is there shit in
250?
the woods?
Yeah.
You're like, well, give or take.
Yeah, she goes, the max weight's 250 because you got to have the guy strapped to your back.
I
You
said,
can't go tandem if
said,
you're
listen,
over
Loops,
250.
This
I'll
is
wait
not
for
the
you-
time to lie.
I'll wait for you down here. Go jump out of the bird, and then we'll go grab lunch somewhere. I'm not jumping out of the
Yo,
bird.
I'm all for fibbing about the weight, and any other place, but the skydive, when your life's on the line, you got to come clean with your real weight.
Then again, you're like, but I'm not actually jumping with you, so you're on your own here. But I'm just giving you some tips.
I mean, skydiving wouldn't have been as dangerous as driving up that fucking road to Nimbin. Remember that?
sure not.
Holy fuck. We were baked driving on the wrong side of the road on this 2 little lane.
This is in Australia.
Australia, on this little road going to this little weed town called Nimbin. Now, later we found out that there was actually a main highway. But I'm telling you, Cons, we were on a road this big, and on this side and this side it's game over.
Right.
And Loops is white knuckling her like
It's
the rain.
It's the hardest rain I've ever.
It's like
Yes.
Point
Yeah,
Break
yeah,
when
yes.
he's driving to the 50-year storm. You know, so my end of that story is O'Brien and Lupul are like, hey, do you have a guy in Sydney? And I was like, no. And then I was like, you know what? I do know a guy in Sydney. I had just been there for like a few weeks or a month.
That's why we asked.
You were there for New Year's, weren't you, or something?
Yeah. So Danny I, that's his name. I don't know what his last name is. I know his name is Danny I. So whatever it is. I said, hey, my buddies, they're going to be calling you. I promise you they're the nicest guys in the world.
We were nice.
And
We
they
were
like
just,
to
we were
chase-
just demanding.
they
We were
like to
just
chase
demanding.
puss.
They pay their own way. Like they're just, if you could give them a little direction, is how I put it.
Yeah.
He called me. He was like, holy fucking shit. Your friends, they are demanding. Nice guys, but they know what they want.
I mean, boys,
We wanted was a table full.
we didn't get the nickname the Three Horsemen fucking in the National Hockey League for just fucking fluffing shit up, right?
No,
we have
so
that nickname?
that was the best fucking. That was,
First I've heard that.
no,
I think we're
Mike,
the Three Horsemen.
MC, Mike Comrie gave us that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, he gave us the Rat Pack. Give us the Rat Pack,
Rat Pack.
MC. One thing I want to touch on with you guys here, I know Con's always had a good chuckle out of this, is the Sprinter van. Let's talk Sprinter van, boys. I was lucky enough to
Change
be,
our lives.
Uppy, take it from here. The Sprinter van.
Why did you sell the Sprinter van, Uppy?
Why
The
did,
thing was falling apart,
Why'd we
Cons, to
buy
be
it?
honest. I think it was after either the time we fucking had about 40 people up in the hills trying to get down, and the brakes were, it just didn't look
That
like
was
it
like
was a
by
safety
my
precaution.
house.
Yeah.
I think I might have been in the.
Or it was the time there was 50
the one
Toronto Maple
oh,
Leafs
yeah.
in there.
This
I wasn't there
story's-
that time, but
This one's worth it. So we have our rookie party. I forget, Bootsy Bellows? I think I set it up at Bootsy Bellows. So with
Good
Toronto,
spot.
and then we take the bus down. But then I also bring the Sprinter on the side because I'm like,
Smart.
not everyone's going to want to go back on that bus at the same
and
time.
not
I'm not.
everybody can make the cut.
Yeah. And then guys are like, first of all, guys are just shocked. They're like, "What? Why do you have this thing? Why do you, Scotty, have this?" I'm like, I don't
You'll
really know.
see.
I guess because
You'll see.
we're
Yeah.
sick maniacs.
Stay
I don't know why we have a.
because why the fuck wouldn't we? It was a living room
So
on
then,
wheels.
fucking
then
game
we're,
changer
we're
ever
leaving
was.
Bootsy Bellows, and I bet you there's 8 seats in there. We packed 50 people in there. The thing is this far off the ground. It's dragging like right on the. And
Are
then
you guys trying to get up the hill?
we are going to go to the Four Seasons. Harvey,
Little after show.
yeah,
At
Harvey
At least that's
Harvey
down,
rented
That's
it.
down the hill.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the flats there? Yeah.
So then, what are those girls' names? The one girl,
Swedes?
the Swede. Her sister's in
Joanna
the bar.
was
Two, smoke.
Joanna
Swede.
and Alexandria.
Her sister's in the bar. She can't find her sister, and I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. Just grab an Uber and meet us at the Four Seasons or whatever. She takes a different approach. She goes and lays under the tire in the front. So this blonde girl.
Now, meanwhile,
So
let's
we'll
just touch
let
on
you
this.
guys
She was in love with 15 Lupul, or number 19, sorry, Joffrey Lupul. Like, in love. So there was no way she was fucking...
That's no way to get ahead.
She was no way she was leaving
That's a
fucking-
red flag.
That's
if
a
nothing
red
else.
So Dylan, our driver, what
Dylan,
was Dylan
he's,
doing?
he's opened the thing. He's like, "What do you want me to do?" I'm like,
Well, I don't want you to run
Dylan,
her
yeah,
over.
that's what I said.
Dylan,
I'm
I
like,
need you to fuck her.
We can't run her over. I mean,
Can't run her over, so
I guess
pull her
we're
out of there.
We're at her mercy here, and we gotta wait for her sister.
Fuck, she really doubled down on that one.
I mean, there was another time with those two. I was hanging out with the one suite, but we're at Loops' house partying, and Loops is in his bedroom, and she's like,
He was in
knocking-
there solo, too.
Was he
And-
solo?
Yeah,
I thought
and
he
He was
was
taking a
hot.
nap. He was taking a
No,
nap.
no, it was
She's
like
knocking
late
on the.
night.
She's knocking on the
I was
door.
tired.
No,
She
what'd you say,
was
Ups?
she was in her mood where, like, you know, it was Joffrey Lupul or
bust.
life's over.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, listen, babe.
You were like, look, whatever.
Loops is done, but
no, not for
if you want
nothing.
me-
Not for nothing. I went one ahead of him in the first round.
Totally. I'm like, if
Whatever.
you want,
Whatever you
I
want to
mean,
look at, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
I don't have
But,
300 snipes. I wasn't an all-star, but I can fucking bring the heat.
Listen, he's gone.
And you'll
He's
really,
gone.
really
He's
piss him
gone
off.
for the day. He is gone for the day. I can assure you that. So, that said,
If you want to hurt him,
You want to talk about the white parties back in the day, Cos, when you come down for the white parties? or
I
what?
mean, listen, we talk about naps and we talk about the importance of a nap. And now that I'm a little bit older and retired from the game, when you're playing in a game and it's a a playoff situation, it's a big night. You got to go down between 7 and 9, 9:30 to jump in the shower, and then you come out and you can do what you got to do during the day, but you go home for a 2-hour nap, shower, you're fucking ready to rock round 2, and you're a whole new man.
That's true. That was your game plan. You would come down, make an appearance during the day.
Yeah, I would hang out, I'd have a couple
didn't
beers.
want to get much sun with the boys.
I'm Irish, whatever. By the way, look at my fucking golf tape.
Yeah,
now.
you do have
now I'm fucking playing. Yeah. But you take a nap. Are you not a napper?
I was always a napper up until I got a little bit older, and I think that's the case with most NHLers.
It's harder to nap.
It's a little harder to nap.
Physically harder to nap.
I think your mind
And
is
sleep in general.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
napping's it's part of the game. If you're not getting in your sleep, especially on nights you don't play, which is most of our situation, we like to go have a few pops. You got to get your sleep in sometimes. So before the game, but I do want to. Lupul and I were roommates in Philadelphia when we were there, and yes, in the NHL up until about 2012, you always had to be roommates unless you had 700 games or 500 games.
Interesting.
Or
So,
you could always, if
you could buy
if you
your
had
own.
something on the go, you just buy your own.
So
which you
we're in
always
Pittsburgh.
had to do.
We're in Pittsburgh, and I'm at the time I started to like this one girl, and I was going to, starting to take her out and ask her out and stuff. And
she was from Pittsburgh?
She was actually from Philly, but she was right in the middle. So she was bringing her girlfriend to the game in Pitt, and we get back from morning skate. Loops and I are sitting there, and fucking I'm texting her, and I'm just kind of lining up the game after. I'm like, Loops, she's bringing in a smoking hot friend. That's yours for the night. We were staying the night in Pitt. So Randy Jones wasn't playing that night. And I text Jonesy. I'm like, Jonesy, hey, on your way back, I'm taking a nap. On your way back from morning skate, do you mind stopping at 7?
Give me a knock.
You mind stepping at 7-Eleven for me? I need you to grab some domes. Some domes.
Get some
fucking
condoms and give me a knock
And
and
some-
slide them under the door.
I need some domes and some KY
Shuffle them under the door.
because I got this babe coming in. And I'm gonna absolutely I don't know how I said it, Loops. I'm gonna absolutely throttle her. But it was like I got this absolute smoke show coming in. I need some domes and KY. It's gonna be a long night. And so I send the text, and me and Loops, we're watching fucking probably Entourage or whatever, getting ready for bed. And I get a text from her, and it's like, "Oh my God, you're a bad boy." And I'm like, "Oh, that's weird, Loops. She thinks I'm a bad boy."
She doesn't even know what she's got.
And I look, and I sent the text that I thought I was sending to Randy
Wow.
Jones right to her.
Oh, no.
And it was like, I'm like, "Oh my God, Loops, what the
gets up,
fuck
he's
do I do?"
screaming. He's
I'm like,
like,
"Oh, because I really like
no,
this
he
girl."
really
And it was
liked
like, it was just a boy-to-boy talk. And Loops is like, "Just shut your phone off." I'm like, "Okay."
Run from it. Just run from it. Shut your phone off.
This is
Turn it back
iPhone
on
fucking
Tuesday.
2007 when you maybe fucking shutting your iPhone or throwing it in the fucking toilet would probably make that message erase. But
She did not buy
she
that,
actually she had 2 older brothers, or one older brother and a younger one, thank God. So she knew how boys talk. It was harmless, but Lupul and I, you get caught in a sticky situation like that. You just ask your best friend what the fuck to do and turn your phone off.
That was
your
Loops'.
phone off.
That was Loops' answer for a lot of things. Right?
Turn it off.
I just turned my phone off. What'd you do? I just turned my phone off. Oops. How did you and Loops meet?
Carcillo said, "Keep your eye out for my boy Lupul. He's out and about." So one night,
In LA or what?
Yeah, here. He said, "My boy Lupul
So you
runs around
text each
Hollywood.
other, or
You'll
just-
see him." No, and then one night I was like, "Yo, that's probably Carcillo's friend." And I said, "Yo, Joffrey,
yeah.
right?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm a friend of Carcillo's," and
Wow.
the rest is history.
Right
Loops
there.
and I, yeah.
I always would love when cons would make an appearance down in Newport Beach for your parties.
He
Loops.
would come to,
Yeah,
Every
for the
year,
white
July
party
4th
and July
or
4th.
Labor Day. White
You guys
party.
always had a problem with my system.
Nah,
That
I
was the
loved your
thing.
system.
I
It was
didn't- that one-
was in and out.
That one, no, the
Get a
one,
hotel.
the one. He came for 3 days the one time, and some numbers were.
Those were massive numbers.
By the way, those are that's like a story, like a high school football story that gets better with years. Like down the road, it'll be, "Oh, he had 10 kills in 2 days." It just keeps going.
No, I
had
I
a
kept it
good
at
day.
4 because I know it was 4. Because every time I was trying to hook up with one of them, you'd come back here with your hair messed up a little bit more each time and whack her. I'm like, shit, now what? I was back to the drawing board. And it was a Monday in Newport on the long weekend. It's like kind of slim pickings as is, and Colin was just coming in going to town.
We had a great time at the white parties, right?
White parties were always
the
great.
white parties were good. The The Lupul Bash at the
Lupul
white
parties were fucking great.
Well, let's get one of
Like,
those going again. Is that-
100%.
right?
We got to get back.
Yeah, I just don't know if the guest list would be.
I
We
built
just
that.
started
I
getting-
built that house next to Loops, fucking to take a little fucking pressure and heat off him from always throwing our parties.
And now
And
he's
then I
over
had
there
it.
just
And then I
changing
had a little
diapers.
bit.
Everyone's still coming to my
Everyone's
house.
more than welcome. We were over there this weekend. We watched the UFC fights, the hockey game, and then lo and behold, Bonnaroo fucking live because it was supposed to be this weekend.
What?
The replacement
Yeah.
weekend was supposed to be this weekend for Bonnaroo.
So we watched.
So My Morning Jacket came on, and I fucking threw the fucking sound
Where was
system
your-
on.
where
I got
was
the
your baby? Was
speakers.
she
I texted my nanny and I said, "Hey, can you hear anything?"
I need you up here right now.
Yeah.
No, she was there. So I said, "Can you hear anything in the bedroom?" She said, "No." Fucking volume went up, and I was in the zone. Obs.
To My Morning Jacket,
Yeah,
I would have
he's-
loved to have
oh,
seen
yeah,
that.
he's in
I would
his
have
own.
loved to have seen that. Boys, I think I mean
That's it.
I
Let's
could
wrap
sit
her up.
here all day with you. Loops, you're always welcome, man. I know you're bi-coastal, but anytime you're down here, man, come on in. And I mean, I have so much more stuff down here that we could get into, but you're an
No, it's
absolute
a pleasure.
legend,
That seat's
buddy.
yours anytime.
You're an absolute
Yeah,
legend,
yeah.
man. And
Even if,
You
if
look good in
Flowers is here, I can come toss him the fuck
Flowers
out.
thinks he's
Con's
got a
left the
part-time
building
thing,
'cause of
but-
Flowers.
Yeah, Flowers. Well, we
I had
might
to
have Flowers
leave
on again
anyway.
just so we can chirp him.
I had to leave anyway,
But you made it more
but I
dramatic
thought, I wasn't even trying to make it dramatic. I had enough. Like I couldn't handle. Well, you guys didn't prep me for the fucking him on the ring thing.
I know, but I
and,
didn't
and
even
somebody
get that
should
either.
be fired.
Yes,
The
Somebody
funniest
should
part-
be fired. That's disgraceful.
I mean, the whole thing was great, but the one point, this one clip where he's like, "Yeah, brain shit," you're like, "Fuck you."
Well, not only that, I mean, you guys have a tendency to do that, and I try to be here for you, but like you spit out these nicknames.
Yeah.
And it's just like fucking
Yeah.
Egyptian hieroglyphics. Nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about.
Short side, top titty.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Short side
What the
titty.
fuck is going on?
Short
Short
side.
side titty. I mean, I could piece it together, but I need a solid 2 minutes. To fucking try to
No,
figure it
you're
out.
always great at
Short
keeping
side
the
titty.
boys on their A game. That's for sure.
Did Stamkos go short side titty?
He went
Or did
far
Lupul-
side,
Far
far
side
side,
Far
too.
side. Oh, sorry,
Far side,
sorry.
too.
He went
Yeah.
far side. Lupul went short side
That was
titty.
in him.
Stamkos went
Yeah.
far side titty.
What happened? What happened to Stam? Like,
I heard I'm gonna go.
He was
Jimmy
just-
Scoop style. I heard it was a core injury, but
What does that
yeah,
mean?
no, he had surgery on it, but
Yeah.
then he came back and he looked like he was fucking good to go.
For those 2 minutes,
and
he
then,
made it count. Bro.
And then he was all of a sudden just done again.
Yeah, he's put on some miles. I know he trains fucking super
Yeah,
hard
super
with Gary
hard.
Roberts.
Who plays
And
longer,
I'm
him
just
or
gonna say
Tavares?
this. I don't think this training for a guy like Stamkos right now is the answer for him moving forward. You can do it when you're younger, but
Yeah.
you can't fucking train with these like Gary Roberts trainers moving forward when you get over 30. It's not possible.
Who lasts longer,
Do they keep
Tavares
him
or
there? Do you think?
Stamkos?
Do you think they would keep it?
In
Tavares
Tampa.
never
They just
makes
won the
it past
cup
the first
without him.
round.
didn't it?
So.
Like,
Yeah.
Loops. Who's in the league longer, Stamkos or Tavares?
who will play longer?
Yeah.
Well, I would say Tavares now, just because Stammers has.
He had that one
you-
injury.
Well,
Yeah, but
no, but when you
cores-
start seeing different things going on, when it's a groin and then
speak
it's a
from
back,
experience,
and then
Lewis.
that's like me. And my issue was my back, but then next thing you know, you're fucking blowing your groin or tearing your abs or like because things are not.
Lined up, right?
They're not working properly in your body. You're compensating for different things. So
Right, like,
I hope
so-
I'm wrong about Stamkos.
So when
I'd
I'm
love to watch
shipping,
him
when
watch
I'm
the-
shipping out of the sand,
yes.
and Obi's
Open
telling
the
me
face
that I
right
don't
up,
have my
baby.
face,
I got a
I'm
question
not
for you.
dipping my shoulder, but the ball goes in the cup. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the ball in the
If
cup.
you're in the bunker, if you're in the short side bunker, and you're about to hit the shot, where do you put the? Yeah, come on in, boys.
Yeah.
Where do you put your weight, Conley? On your left
on your
side
left
or
foot,
right?
I
Okay.
put it on my left
There you
side.
go. That's all I want to say. That's a good job. Yeah.
All right, well that's it, right?
Loops, we love you, buddy.
Loops,
You're
we love
welcome
you. Thank you.
anytime.
Thanks,
We
boys.
wish we could do it longer, but we got to go to Riv.
Sorry, we
Yeah.
gotta go play number 10 golf course in the United States, and
got
Boys, get ready.
You let
Because
your caddy
fucking,
give you a good
it's a
read
bear.
on
That
that green.
kikuya grass, that'll fucking
I
eat
know.
your
Loops, I
balls.
just want to say you're the first guy to get Connolly to come in the actual studio too. So I don't know if that's a little
Right.
feather in your cap.
A couple July 4 shakers.
the first guy to get him to Ottawa.
Ottawa. First and last guy to get me to Ottawa.
Conley
Unless
did.
the Islanders are in the fucking
Yeah.
playing in the fucking
Eastern
Cup
Conference Finals
Eastern
in
Conference
Ottawa.
Finals. Be my next trip to Ottawa. But anyway,
All right, boys. Thank you, everyone. Mr. Curfew,
Thanks,
Uppy,
Loops.
Loops. Thank you, man. Con,
Cheers,
to the
boys.
beauty.
Thanks. That was
good
fun.
shit, guys.
Later.